if people can't follow, I'm concerned for them. This makes sense, okay?
We love our listeners.
Good job.
Oh, speaking of, shout out to Laura, who says she watches all the way through.
Nice.
And she yelled it all the way through. It was a lot of exclamation points. Shout out to you. And then Kimberly as well. She said, she was talking to me the other day. Anyhow, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's good.
When you said listeners and you were talking down to all of us, that's when I thought.
There you go. Yeah. Sometimes you got to beat them up some. You know what I mean? People do it to me.
You don't want them to love you too much.
You're correct.
All right. Talking about root and fruit today.
Yeah.
So before we get to that, are you a fruit eater?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for thank you for the great detail. Go-to fruit. What is it?
All right. And my favorite fruit in the world is a cherry, like a seeded, like a pitted
with it in there.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness!
Give me
I've
that bag
lost a few
that costs
chompers
way
with that.
too many dollars per pound. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Delicious.
I'm not a big cherry person at all.
Man, I like cherry Garcia, like ice cream, any cherry. I'm down for it. I don't eat ice cream almost ever.
Really?
Like almost never. I
can't have it in the house, or I will. The spirit of gluttony will get all over me. I just chain swallow it. Just right on down.
That's me, man. That's me. So at the very end of our, I guess it would have been Lauren and I's vacation recently. It was that kind of re-entry week. We were hanging with Katie, our youngest, and we went out to dinner. Oh, yeah. And we overate on some Buffalo Wild Wings. Buy one, get one. Yeah. They call it wings. I call it chicken nuggets, whatever. If there's no bone
I have the toddler wings. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, I don't eat chicken on the bone. I will literally gag.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's just a thing for everyone watching. Hopefully no one's eating while they're watching this and thinking old Trev.
I love a traditional buffalo wing. Come on, a drum. I'm a drum, not a flat guy.
Yeah.
But anyway,
in there?
The Buffalo. I can't. Buffalo Wild Wings, buy one, get one on Thursdays. And so we went there and me and Katie can turn the heat up. So we were eating our hot wings and then we decided to go to, in our town, Cold Cow.
Oh yeah. God, man, Cold Cow's great.
And I got me the tiniest, smallest portion.
And they still, I guarantee they still loaded it.
Yeah. And I ate it up, but I don't eat ice. I have, dude, if my eating is not disciplined, my body tells on me right away.
Yeah. I think that's just humans, but except for these like lucky people, they're like, I can eat whatever. And I'm like, why don't you step in front of
my son?
So yeah, Carter. Yes, yeah. He was posting up. My God, I liked it. I zoomed in, bro. I almost screen recorded it. He looks so great.
Shredded. And he will eat, I kid you not, he will eat 10, 12 chocolate chip cookies at a time. He'll just bake them and
bake them.
Well, you know, like
this kid, he knows they sell them in the pack.
Bake them.
What is he, Betty?
Fresh and
what is he, a
warm.
little muscular Betty Crocker out here?
Tall glass of milk and a dozen cookies and that joker, and then he just wakes up looking awesome.
Yeah, I could do that with eggnog. And anyhow, we're talking about fruit. Cherries.
Cherries is probably my favorite.
Least favorite.
Cantaloupe.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
I love cantaloupe. Now, you have to be careful because some cantaloupe can get it sour and it's like it's been fermenting, you know, and it's I love, I'm not, pineapple I can't do. My whole mouth will break out and like sores.
I've got a friend that will absolutely pass out.
Oh, wow.
Like pass out if he has pineapple, which is a shame because I do love me some pineapple. That would be toward the top of my list.
Really? Yeah. No, I'm a watermelon. Good watermelon. See this watermelon? Praise God forever.
Okay. When it comes to watermelon, I like it down at the rind where it's crunchy and pink.
Ew.
I know. I would also say I'm the oddball there. I'm weird everywhere, but I'm weird there for sure.
So anyhow, talking about fruit.
Yep.
Fruit and root. Larry was preaching the other day. Mm-hmm. And so I just went back and saw this as well. He says this line, that oftentimes we water the fruit and not the root.
If we want to grow fruit, we don't water the fruit. You water the root. You water the tree. The tree grows the fruit. So if you want to abide in Christ, you don't focus on the fruit you are trying to grow. You focus on cultivating a relationship with Christ.
Yes.
Now, you even went back to it when we're recording this. It would have been last Sunday, but when this comes out 2 Sundays ago as well. And I think it's called Living the Gospel. So you can go watch that on the channel. And you even went back to that as well. And then when we were texting, hey, we were talking about, you're like, hey, I think we need to go and just really talk about this.
Yeah, it struck me. So when I was hearing Larry preach, I was heading north on 95 at about 80. All right. And I'm listening to him through my truck. And great message, by the way.
Yes.
I just thought he did
I liked his shirt too.
Phenomenal job. Yeah. He went to, he was telling me, where did he say? Marshall's. Has bought him a bunch of like new shirts or something. I was like, I complimented a couple of shirts. He's like, yeah, I got a bunch of new ones.
I was like, look at my boy right here looking great. Anyhow, go ahead.
So he's preaching and he's doing just an awesome job. I enjoyed it. He's more a teacher
100%
than a preacher, but so well received in our church, and he does a great job. Anyway, so I'm just down the interstate heading back toward home on vacation. Lauren's in the truck with me. We're listening to Larry preach, and he says that statement that about you don't water the fruit, you water the root, and that is what gives you the fruit.
Yeah.
And the first thought that is going through my mind is like, how many times as a pastor am I sitting with somebody in whatever you call it, a coaching conversation or whatever, and they're seeking me out for counsel or whatever you want to call it, and then I'm over here trying to get them to focus on the fruit.
Yeah.
Well, you need to this and you need to that, when really what you need to do is sit in the presence of Jesus, and the more of that we are doing, the better our fruit is always going to get.
Right.
And so I've just been thinking on that. So then again, at the time you're watching this or listening to this, I guess would have been 2 Sundays ago, I was talking about living the gospel. And like we have been, Jesus called us the salt of the earth, the light of the world. The Apostle Paul says that we are Christ's ambassadors. God is making his appeal to the world through us, which is quite crazy.
Yeah,
but that 100%. Is the strategy God chose.
That's the standard. That's the mold. Yeah.
And so the idea of that message, to summarize it quickly, was like our life should be a presentation of the gospel in my character. And, so essentially, and I didn't talk about this in the sermon, but essentially I'm talking about the fruit of the Spirit being 100%. Lived out in our lives. So then as I'm, when I was writing this message and I'm coming down to the end, I'm like, okay, well, the best thing for me to do is double down on what we just were taught a week prior. Because another bad habit we preachers have is that we're always trying to come up with some fresh new thing, or whatever. And it's like, let me wow you with this new thing. And I'm like, man, sometimes we just need to hear again the same thing so it'll actually sink in.
I like how Peter said it. I won't fail to put you to remembrance.
Yes.
Of this.
Yes.
Thing.
That's a great.
Anytime I review, I'm like, just remember, this is scripture.
That's it. And how many times too have you or I, there's certain sermons that it's like, I can think of one in particular. It's a portion of a sermon. I guarantee you I've heard it 50 times in my life, and I'll listen to it again in the future because it keeps feeding me. 100%. It's a good reminder or whatever. So I was just like, hey, here's how we're going to close today. Remember last week? We're going to end right there again. Jesus, like, I am the vine and you're the branches. And so if you abide in me and I abide in you, you're going to produce much fruit. And then he concludes by saying, apart from me, you can do
nothing.
Yeah.
John 15. What a sobering.
Yes.
Few words.
So it's like, if I want to live the gospel, what is the best way for me to do that? Is it to think about my behavior? Is it to think about my actions? Is it to think about my language? Or is it just getting into the presence of the Lord and letting that produce my actions and character and language and whatever words I just said repeated?
All right. Remind me of that, of getting in the presence of the Lord, because I'd love to go granular there in just a minute. But before we do, Larry in there tells the story that I loved it when he said, man, this year in the 21 days of prayer and fasting that COTR does, that last week, it was just incredible. He saw things so clear, like strategies were coming to him, ideas, problems, seeing the problem, fixing it. And if you've had one of those seasons, it's one of the most incredible things where it almost like you can't mess up in a way, like things are happening. And then he goes, well, I wanted this to continue. So the Lord said, keep fasting. Well, then he starts focusing on the fasting and not on the connecting with God, which is what you're saying.
Yep.
And it made me think, like, in life, when something's working, you do it. What's the old saying? Like, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Right. So like if in health or in I was going to say in smarts, but that sounds so dumb. and intelligence
We're
and
Hershey's. That works perfectly.
in like a scholastic way. There we go. Like stuff like that. Whatever's working, however you're learning, keep doing that. But as a Christian, as a disciple of Christ, we have to make sure we're staying connected in relationship.
That's right.
Not just the ritual.
The practice.
Right. Even, and I'm we're about to do 8 weeks of practicing the way at Champion come, September and into October. So I'm all about spiritual disciplines, but it's supposed to lead us to a closer relationship, not just to go through the disciplines, so you get the results. Does that make sense?
100%.
And it really stuck with me. It was like, how many times have I done that? Oh, this works. I get this result. Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat.
Right. And then if we're not careful, like Larry, I think so vulnerably, I don't know if admitted is a right word, but just transparently shared with us.
Just honestly, I loved it.
Without intent, wasn't his heart or intention.
Yep.
He's trying to be sacrificial before the Lord. He's trying to be obedient to what he felt like the Lord said. But somewhere along the way, something reversed, something changed. And it was the focus. Again, this is a message worth going back to watch.
100%. I'll even try to code the chapter in there.
That'd be awesome.
I think it would help people a lot.
And he talks about how, in his effort to connect with the Lord, it really became about him, not the Lord. And to me, I'm like, that is so easy.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
When people tell me things like this, right? I'm like, oh, so you're normal? You know what I mean? Because then the enemy wants to get in there and make us believe like, well, you're the only one. That is not true. So I appreciated Larry's vulnerability, but it also made me more aware of like, how often do I do this same thing on accident? And it's the idea of, and we talk about this at Church on the Rock a bit, the idea of preeminence, that like, it is Jesus. This is the language we use, I guess, Jesus over everything. And so
you said it in a way in this last sermon, is Jesus over everything, not Jesus just in the mix of my life. Or how did you say that? I thought that was
I don't know
tremendous.
that I could even remember how I said it.
Great. Thanks
Sorry for
nothing.
that. But
it was like Jesus over everything, not Jesus just in the mix of my life.
There, right.
Yeah.
And the truth is there's only one place God's going to take anyway.
Right.
And it is first place. He cannot take any other place. We have this deceptive belief that like, he can just be a part of the cocktail of all that I got going on. It's like, that's actually isn't how he only takes one place, and that's first place. And so the idea, and Larry and I talked about this together, the idea was like inadvertently, it had just switched for him. Now he's aware. Right. And it's back in its right place so that the fasting that he's doing is like, Lord, I'm here for you. Yeah. I'm not here so that I have more energy or more clarity or I can make a good decision. I'm simply here to be with you. That is going to produce more fruit in him.
100%.
Than the rinse repeat practice that you had talked about just a second ago. With all that is, and I admit this to our church all the time, I probably say way too many things on microphones in front of cameras. Then maybe I should, but I don't know how else to be. I don't know.
They still show up. You'll be fine.
I guess. And so, I would say the Apostle Paul uses this phrase, and I don't even know what translation this is, but he's the chief offender, like in this sinful, I am probably the worst. Right. I am the stinking worst of getting things in the wrong order or making things about me, not the Lord. And I think that it's easy for ministry people. I'm talking about people that work in vocational ministry to hide behind our activity.
Oh yeah.
It's like, well, yeah, but are you?
That's why I don't work for a church.
Like, are you actually connecting with the Lord, or does it just appear that way? Yeah. And so, like, I think we've talked about this recently, but like Matthew 7 scares me. Yeah. Like,
well, and in that you're talking about where he says, "Depart from me, I never knew you."
Yeah, where like I did all these things for you.
Right.
Ta-da!
But then he's like, literally right there, he's saying though, you'll know people by their fruit.
Yes.
So like that's all at the same. It's like, do I do the things? Do I not? That's a
And so, all right, Luke chapter 10. I'm just going to read a handful of verses. This is the story. I reference this story all the time, and then realize that like some people might not even know the story I'm referencing. It's fine. But Luke chapter 10, verse 38. I'll read through the end of the chapter, which is verse 42. As Jesus and the disciples continued on their way to Jerusalem, they came to a village where a woman named Martha welcomed them into her home. Her sister Mary sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he taught. But Martha was worrying over the big dinner she was preparing. That's a period. She was worried about the big dinner she was preparing. Period. She came. I guess I was looking at it like a comma. That's just the end of it. All right. So she's worried about this dinner. Then she comes to Jesus and says, Lord, doesn't it seem unfair to you that my sister just sits here while I do all the work? Tell her to come help me. Which is funny that she's like, Jesus, do what I say. But I also do that too when I pray. Like, if you would just do it my way.
I've never thought of it. I've never thought of it like that. Jesus, would you that's a really good way.
Please do it my way. Okay. Please tell them to, overpay me, or I don't know, whatever. Okay. Bless me, Lord, please. Whatever it is. Okay. Verse 41, but the Lord said to her, my dear Martha, you are so upset over all these details. There's really only one thing worth being concerned about. Mary has discovered it, and I won't take it away from her. And so I talk all the time about, again, I'm just being honest, that I have such a tendency to be Martha. Mm-hmm. I worry about details, and we have an inner joke about being a Hersey and a work ethic. And I mean, if you do not work hard and your last name's Hersey, we are like, you can get like disowned. By
I remember when Grandpa Hersey told me, I was like, man, I worked 12 hours yesterday.
You worked a half a day.
And he literally goes, I remember my first part-time job or something like that.
Yes.
That's
the whole thing was, Hersey's only worked
half a day.
Half days, so 12 hours at a time or whatever. And so, and you and I certainly, man, in our family and the culture of our family, work ethic is a thing. 100%. You and I, you for sure, me maybe, work too much. Okay. All right.
That's not even true.
Guilty is Trevor. He's guilty.
Hitting the hammer down.
Yeah. You work a ton. And so, but I also have a propensity to just do. And I know a lot of the things, the reason for all that, and I've talked about it even on the show of a performance mindset. There is
worth in it. Yeah.
Yeah. I preach against this and fall trapped to it of believing other gospels. And somehow that like, well, Jesus, I know you died on the cross for me, but do you see all these things I'm doing and how I'm serving you? Do you approve of me? Do you love me? And he's like, the demonstration of my love for you was Jesus on the cross for you, not all these extra things you're trying to do. Again, that doesn't mean Jesus doesn't call us to do.
Right.
The difference is that we don't do to earn our right standing with him. We do in response to our 100%. Right standing with a very, very different approach. So when Larry talked about the water, the root, not the fruit, I just thought to myself, golly, how many times am I guiding people even in a way that's fruit focused and not root focused? How much practice in my own life is fruit focused, not root focused? How many times, and it isn't also, I don't think that Jesus is saying to Martha, what you're doing doesn't matter. I don't think he's saying that at all.
Because they had to eat.
Yeah. I think what he's saying is, look, one thing matters more.
Right.
And so how much of our ministry life is focused on the details and the worry and the concern and the busyness and not really being with Jesus, which is where the most production is going to come from. Again, he says, apart from me, you can do nothing. Right. But if you abide in me, you're going to bear much fruit.
Right.
And so I guess because I'm like the chief offender, I feel like in this way, I'm a good servant. I'm trying to learn to be a good son. Yeah. And they're different things.
Yeah. 100. My son is in the studio with us today. And it's like for him, it's just, I think of this way all the time. Like, yes, he's my son. If he tried to just keep earning to be my son, I'd be like, what are you doing? Right. But if he did life from being my son, does that make sense? Like, not that I'm some great, and what a awful comparison to me and God. But you know what I mean? Like it's
that has handles. People can put their mind around that.
It's like, he doesn't need to earn my love. He needs to live from my love and whatever God has put him here in the earth to do. And I think it's the same for all of us.
Absolutely.
But we make that mistake. Like, if I don't do this, God's not going to love me. If I don't do this, I'm not going to be blessed. If I don't do this, like, no, we have to, that has to fuel us. That can't be the thing we're trying to reach for. Does that make sense?
For sure. And it also doesn't mean that you might not ask him to do things.
Right. 100%,
or that there might not be expectations in the home, or hey, you're taking out the trash, or whatever it is.
He's cutting the grass now.
Nice.
Oh man,
is it a push mower or a rider?
Push mower.
Oh man,
rider. He's
really,
10. What do you?
Well, I don't know how. Well, I guess I do know how big your yard is. I've actually been to your home.
Thank you for remembering.
We're real close. Oh, that's
no, it's a push mower for sure.
Yeah, it's a push mowable size yard too. It's
sure,
not
even
like
if it wasn't, he's gonna get out there. But that's I mean, the point you're.
See, now he sounds like my dad. I cut 5 acres with a 20-inch snapper, like rear engine. Took me 5 hours every Saturday. Real talk. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah, I'm about to say you don't have any remorse or bitterness towards those times.
I'm bitter about this at all.
But it's like, we ask him to do that. This is being a part of being our household. This is the way you carry. God does the same thing.
Correct.
Hey, there's a part of being in the family of God. Mm-hmm. But again, just use this example. If I only, how do I want to say this? If that was the only communication I had with him, do, I would not be a good dad.
Correct.
But if it's the time where we talk about stuff and he asks me a million questions about something he's interested in, or what we sit down at the table together, that I think fuels him when I say, hey, you need to go cut the grass, or hey, you need to wipe the baseboards, or hey, you need to do whatever it might be. Where it's like, okay, I'm doing it. My dad doesn't not love me. It's just part of it. Does that make sense?
And
I don't know if that was
if he didn't cut the grass, let's say it's Thursday's task after school or whatever, and he doesn't do it. It's not like Trevor and Felicia are like, all right, you're sleeping on the sidewalk. You don't belong here. He can't, he's not earning his place, and he's not paying rent.
Right.
He's just a son in the home. Yep. And hey, part of contributing to what we do as a family here is your task is to cut the grass. That's very much like the kingdom. Yeah. Very much. It isn't that God's like, hey, Josh, in order for me to love you, you need to pastor these people. Right. It's like, because I love you and because I have a call on your life, there's a task that I want you to do. All I'm asking of you is to be obedient to that task. Yeah. And so for me, that looks like being a pastor, a husband, a father, and all those things. For someone else, it might be being an entrepreneur and a witness in the marketplace. 100%. Just a great employee at your job. Yep. It could be just being the best student you can possibly be. Yep. Whatever. It's about responding, but it's not a matter of earning. And so, but it's easy for the enemy to manipulate that. Mm. God's a creator, Satan a manipulator, and it's easy for him to manipulate and get us into activity-based approvals versus like, I am a son, and because I'm a son, I have access to God. You know what? I'm tracking 100%. 100%. And I love that. There's a couple of things I was thinking about. Number one, I love that we've kind of went down this road even in the summer on this show, but definitely at COTR, you guys have really pushed this big about the gospel and the good news and that kind of stuff, because y'all are doing such a big push with the move and what's going to be happening. And Larry said this in the sermon, so I feel like I can say this, of the building being built next year, like all of that kind of stuff happening. It's like, we got to remember, this isn't being a part of this discipleship journey is not to earn. We are doing this to grow in union with Jesus. And one of the things I thought about too, when you're saying that, if the only way I know how to describe it is, if the fuel for us to produce fruit is that being with Jesus, and I do want to get a little granular on that. So in case someone, in just a second, if that's where that fruit comes from, Jesus said, I referenced a second ago, Matthew 7, you'll know them by their fruit. Mm-hmm. Can you get grapes from thorn bushes and all that kind of stuff, which I don't really know. I get it from Publix, so I'm not sure. So maybe he would say, can you get grapes from Ace Hardware? Probably Ace. That's not a good. Anyhow, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, you go in there. You're like, man, I'll take a screwdriver and some hot sauce and a sweet hat. It's unbelievable. What a store.
And some honey.
Yeah. It's the best, man.
Anyhow. I see it like this, like we all have a root in something that's producing fruit in our life. That's why I think we have to just pay attention, not in a way of condemnation, but in a way of like leading us to better. Jesus even said, if you speak to the sycamore tree to be plucked up and thrown in the sea, what happened? Why would he bring that up? Because we can have wrong trees, wrong roots, wrong things that have been sown in our life. Maybe you were 7 and something happened to you. It wasn't fair, but something was sown into your life now that's become fruit in your life. And that's why Jesus Jesus, I know I kind of went a little, but that's why he says, hey, speak to that sycamore tree that it be plucked up and removed, because there's better trees to be planted in our heart. Does that make sense? I know we're using a lot of agriculture kind of stuff, but if people can't follow, I'm concerned for them. This makes sense. Okay. We love our listeners.
Good job.
Oh, speaking of, shout out to Laura, who says she watches all the way through. Nice. And she yelled it all the way through. It was a lot of exclamation points. Shout out to you. And then Kimberly as well. She said, she was talking to me the other day. Anyhow, go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's good.
When you said listeners and you were talking down to all of us, that's when I thought.
There you go. Yeah. Sometimes you got to beat them up some. You know what I mean? People do it to me.
You don't want them to love you too much.
You're correct. No, you were talking about things that are planted or rooted that aren't good. Yeah. All right. So I see this in my own life, that because the enemy has deceived my thinking and practices and things in certain ways in my life, that produces fruit in my life. So just the other day, shout out to my youngest, Katie, who we were just talking or whatever. And look, we have 3 awesome kids, Lauren and I. They're awesome. Okay. 2 of them are adults. One of them's married with 2 kids of her own. And then Katie's she's 16 and driving now, and all of our kids are getting older and all that stuff. Okay. I say it all the time and I believe it. Like, our kids are awesome in spite of us, not because of us. Right. Okay. Anyway, I could get lost in that little trail. They're awesome, and praise God for it. So Katie and I were talking the other day, and she was just mentioning honestly some areas that I could get better in parenting, right? And so one of the comments that she made to me was, sometimes it feels like the only time you're talking to me, and we're talking like at home, right, is if you need me to do something. And I'm like, well, that's a problem. That's like, okay, first of all, I'm sorry for that. That's dumb, and that's not on you. That's on me. But here's the thing. My fractured something that makes me have a propensity toward like performance or earning or working for, that is producing something that's not even healthy. That needs to get dug up and thrown out of there. I need more time at the feet of Jesus, being a son instead of just a servant, right? So that I could be a better dad. You know what I'm saying? Yeah,
no, 100%.
The actual most important calling on my life, and that is my family. Right. So, and then you could Katie, see publicly,
but then you could see how that happens. Just using it as an example, I'm sure every person that's watching this can look back and be like, okay, I have this fruit in my life because of this when I was a kid, or because this happened in my whatever point in your life. And like, that's so true. So if like, that's the fruit that's coming from you, well, she's eating of that fruit. So now she has seeds that's being planted in her heart. And again, this is extreme, so please hear my heart. You know what I'm saying? But I think this is how it works. And then down the road, it becomes a cycle.
Absolutely.
And you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. The thing I would hope for is that the inadequacies that I had as a father, the thing I can hope for, and there are plenty, that my kids would go, I ain't never doing it. Right, and they'll actually pluck that, swing the other way.
And then pluck that tree up.
Correct. And so anyway, I just, not to sit here and like make this a counseling session or whatever. It's just real, because
we can all relate to that.
Or bad fruit is going to grow. So cultivating the right things matters. So sitting with Jesus is going to always produce the right kinds of fruit. Bingo. Not just our doing and practices and exercises, because you can make it about like, I did a devotion today. Right. Check. Right. Okay, but was the devotion so that you could say it's accomplished and check it off the box because that's about you? Right. Or is it so that I actually could be with the Lord and learn something from His Word, because that's actually about Him? There's a very big difference between the same thing. Yeah. And how we approach it. So you talked about getting granular with that. Is this the right time to shift there?
Well, the only thing I'll say on that, I remember that, I can't remember the verse exactly where it's at. So I haven't preached on it in a long, long time, or even went to it. I shouldn't just, but you know what I mean? Where Jesus says the sycamore tree. I remember when I was just getting saved, man, I don't know if I was saved maybe a year. I have this dream. And in the dream, I'm coming from Palm Coast on US 1 up to St. Augustine, right? And I'm coming up the road and I see trees being ripped up. And like, I can see, you know, like if you see like things are, you know, when they're clearing out trees or whatever, that kind of stuff, you can kind of see. And I see these trees getting ripped up. And I wake up, I'm like, what in the world was that? And I felt like the Lord spoke to me and was like, I'm removing trees, because I went to middle school and high school down on Palm Coast and I was coming back to St. Augustine. I'm removing trees that have been planted in your heart that don't have a place so something new could be planted. That was so, and it was, I'm like, okay, well, where's that in scripture? Because I don't want to just be like, you know, like whatever. And that's what he brought me to, is the sycamore tree. And because the sycamore tree will intertwine its roots with everything else. So it's like, that's how things happen. You might have it in one area, but then it gets connected here and gets connected here. And you're like, well, how can I remove this out of my life? And Jesus says, with faith, it will be plucked up and taken out without destroying everything else around.
That's good, man.
So anyhow, I thought about that when I didn't even plan on talking about that, but you said several times, sitting with the Lord, being connected to the vine. Let's kind of wrap up here with that. What does that look like? I mean, you mentioned the devotional, but that's probably the most common way in our day and time.
Yeah. You know, the maybe fallacy, I don't know, maybe whether that's the right word or not, in a lot of believers' thinking is that I have to sit still with the Bible, with worship music in a moment, you know, the old school language, quiet time, you know,
or prayer closet,
that thing, or I'm not with the Lord. And it's like, well, that's not biblical at all.
Right.
Because he said, I'll never leave you or forsake you.
Right.
Like, I'm with you always, even to the end of the age. Right. So he is always with us. And so I think including him into just life is a good idea. And so all the time, I heard this saying, I wish I could remember who said it.
Sorry, just take credit.
They said, I'm not smart enough, but the person, I heard a person quote this, said, I never pray for more than a minute, and there's never a minute that I don't pray.
Oh, dang.
If you just think about that, it's like, it's expressing a conversation with the Lord. I'm just with the Lord and I just talk to him. And so one of the things that I'm doing more intentionally and proactively in my own life is just considering the reality, like the Lord is with me and he knows me better than I know myself.
Right.
So even when I feel like I'll try to hide this, like he already knows. So there are times where I'm just heading to a meeting and I'll just be like, God, I pray that you just give me your wisdom. I know the Spirit of God that you're inside of me. And I'm just asking you to make, God, I don't want to do anything that wouldn't serve well, that wouldn't help this, whatever it is. I want to make right decisions, et cetera, et cetera. And I just talk. There are times that I did this just the other day. I've got a little tiny stressor in my life. It's a dumb little thing, but it is bothering me. And I just start talking to God about it. Like I know this shouldn't bother me, but it does. Yeah. It's driving me crazy. And I'm just asking you to help me. I want to get rid of this thing. I want it to go away. It's in my way. It irritates me. I feel like it's costing me hunt money, and let's hunt. That bothers me. You know, and I just talk to the Lord about it. So for me, I'm trying to more proactively remind myself that he is with me everywhere all the time and have that conversational sort of lifestyle prayer with him. That's one thing that I'm trying to do.
We're even kind of in that talking about a champion right now, or best summer yet, where we're talking about building the best summer yet. That whatever life is throwing at us, how should we respond with the Lord in that? If we do everything in him and through him, why would we not deal with the stress or the success or the whatever it might be? And we've just kind of talked about like, hey, why don't we involve him in all of that? And it's so funny. I literally just wrote about it in our church Devo this week of that same thing. Like, and then notice the good things. Like if something good happens, like why wouldn't every good and perfect gift come from the Lord?
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? And I think it's that kind of knowing. Sure, the prayer closet, I get it. The quiet time, cool. Like that's great. 100%. Worship music, that's all, but it's not just that time.
That's it.
But that's what I hear you saying. Like being connected to the vine is not just however much, you know, for me, I'm usually spending 3 hours a day in prayer. And so like, it's never like just about that.
Right.
He's in everything.
Yeah. And I think the idea of like abiding in him. So even thinking, like for me, thinking about the things that he allows me to do and how can I, in everything that you do unto the glory of God. So it's like, all right, how can I involve him.
Say it, kill deer to the glory of
everything,
God. Go ahead.
Everything. Like, but
that's not a joke. That's real.
Oh, 100%. That's real. Let's go. 2 months and they're going to turn me loose. Let's go. But like, but then also, and we've talked about this, I think recently, like what things stir your affection for the Lord? Like what things, so for me, like I'm an audio book guy. Thank God for audio books. I don't know where I would be intellectually. It would be scary. But I consume tons of content because I like to listen to books. Increasingly, I'm listening to podcasts and things like that. But like I like to listen. That sharpens me and makes me feel more connected to the Lord. I seldom read, and I do sometimes read things just purely for entertainment. It's not often. And when I do, I like it to be like some history or something. I actually want it to educate me. Okay.
Yeah.
Not just like, I'm not like a fiction guy. Like I'm not really into that.
Okay. Right.
But tell me a story and then let it teach me something.
So I can see you just sitting there reading Twilight. Yeah,
there you go. Right. Exactly. I would never waste my time with something like that.
Was it Jacob or Edward? Who is it? I don't know.
I have no idea.
Okay, sure. You don't know.
No idea.
Is it Edward and Jake, something like that? I don't know. They're glittery. I know that. I know
half of them are real pale. I've seen the ads on my Netflix.
Sure you have. I bet you have. Anyhow,
I can sit here with confidence.
I'm tracking with what you're saying.
Yeah, no,
I'm tracking with what you're saying for sure.
But like that is something that stirs my affection toward the Lord.
Yeah, people could do that in anything. Cutting the grass, grilling. Like,
ask Pastor Juan on our staff about cutting the grass. That is his. Like, he talks about the silence in the noise. And how
I think some of my now I have to do it for a living, but like I think some of my best thoughts in the world.
That's what he
is
talks
when I'm
about.
cutting grass.
Yes,
and I'm trying to get my phone out and put the notes in my phone so I can remember and change the world. And
for him, that is a spiritual thing.
Yeah,
and
for some it's grilling meat.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? For it's a walk, and I'm not a big like hiker because who wants to be out there with the yellow flies? The size of the yellow flies recently have been insane.
We should start talking about rucking though, you and me.
Yeah.
That's
excited.
Different than just, I've got a vision for
I did
that.
a pretty good one this morning, actually. But anyhow, just involving God.
I'm not a hiker, I just ruck around. Yeah, look at this.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so Dylan's showing us a little picture. We'll put it up on here.
Jeez.
But anyhow, what else you got on this?
Man, we could spend forever here, I think. And
forever young, I want to be. I'm listening.
He sings
forever
frequently on this
young,
show.
Forever. I'm listening. You said we spent forever.
It's making me think of the Champion Church introduction of me that he did in the Bluebell.
Oh yeah, Bluebell tastes just like the good old days.
That's it.
Bluebell tastes like a mortgage payment.
And then it just cuts over to the actual. That was hilarious, dude. That was so funny. Anyway, I think so I would say to the listener, and I am like drinking my own Kool-Aid on this. So like honestly and transparently, the motive matters, and like, what are you doing and why are you doing it? I think to grow, you have to be honest with yourself. And so if you're in a pattern that you're doing things just for the sake of doing them, be honest about that. That's okay. That makes you just like everybody else. Right. You're not the bad guy. What can you do to mix that up? Okay. If there are just rhythmic things that they just work, then just do those things. You know what I'm saying? Like, my wife and I go to the same destination every summer for like this couple's vacation. It works. And we just repeat it.
Right.
Because we like it. That could be true in your journey with the Lord. And that's how you sit at the Lord's feet. There could be this staple, somebody, it might be your chair, your coffee, and your Bible every morning, same time. Great. If that is it, do it. Don't.
Yeah, if that's keeping you connected.
That's it. There is no formulaic right or wrong answer.
But I think you have to be honest with, is this keeping me connected? That's what I hear you saying. I don't mean to cut you off.
No, that's exactly what I'm saying. And like Larry, again, just going back to his message, discovered that unintentionally, he was like, I had lost the real meaning that I am doing this not for my own clarity and sharpness and decision making. which he said that's kind of where it pivoted to. I should be doing this to be with the Lord. God, what do you have for me? That's really the point. If you can find that in your boat, if you can find that on the golf course, behind the lawnmower, in the morning with your coffee, late at night because you're a college student, and early morning, you don't even know there's 2 6 o'clocks. You just know there's one that says PM. It doesn't matter. What is it that's going to get you actually connected to the Lord and sitting at his feet? And I'm still trying to grow in that, because again, I am so guilty of being Martha. And here's the thing about being a Martha. People will applaud you for it.
Oh yeah.
People will think, oh my, wow, the spirituality. And look
such
at
a
them
great person. So,
And you could be hiding behind a facade that's not real. You know what I mean? So like, are we actually sitting with the Lord and allowing him through his word and through prayer? And I will forever beat the drum of community. So the people in your life, are you actually allowing him to change who you are, to water the root, so that whatever the fruit of your life becomes is from him, not from, is it good fruit or bad fruit? That, I guess.
That's really good, dude. I have nothing to add to that. It's perfect. Find what you've said it countless times. It's what Accelerate is about to be on.
Yeah.
Stirring your affection towards the Lord. Finding, sometimes for me, if I'll go, as silly as this is, I'll go watch The Chosen.
Yeah.
I can watch 30 minutes of that and it stirs me up to go do
a big old portion of our audience is hating on us now. Like, oh my gosh.
First of all,
I have no idea because I don't see the negative comments. Thanks for Trevor. God bless you.
If they type that, that's fine. If you hate on it, like whatever, I don't care.
If
like,
you have a negative comment, I look forward to not seeing it.
You can email it to Jimmy Crackhorn at I don't care. Dude, I literally told someone that the other day. It was a joke, but I got that from you. So anyhow,
that is a real email owned by a pastor in Jacksonville.
Oh, he does own that?
Yes.
Oh, I thought he just said it jokingly. That is funny.
He said it so often that the church went and owned it.
That is hilarious.
That is hilarious.
Okay. So now for us, we were talking before we hit record, there's so much coming up. Accelerate's coming up in early August. The move is off and running with COTR. Champion has some big things shifting in our leadership and really healthy of adding people to leadership and just calling us all up in community.
We're onboarding new staff right now.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you got building stuff that's happening. That's really exciting. So there's all of that happening. So we're going to take we're going to press pause on this. This is our 31st episode, which is wild. But we're going to press pause on this for a few weeks. And then when we come back, you've got a whole set in place as well.
We're trying to construct a set right now. And
keywords trying.
We're trying. It's in process. Hopefully get done.
We have the vision for it. All that's done. People have met on it. And so by the time we come back, hopefully we'll be meeting in that spot. And so anyway, so I hope it doesn't disappoint people. We're going to hit pause here for a few weeks, just catch our breath, make sure that we're actually pointing toward vision. Trevor and I could sit here and talk about anything, anytime. 100%. That's not a concern. Right.
So the conversation will continue, but we both could afford a couple of weeks catching our breath. And then honestly, just prayerfully having some vision for where we're headed from here. So
100%. Awesome.
But thank you to any and everybody that does participate, listen, watch. It's super meaningful, honestly. Yep. This is the fact that when you and I set out on this thing, the question was, does it add value?
Right.
And if it does, we'll keep talking. And if it doesn't, we have plenty to do.
Yeah.
So it seems to be adding value. And so we want to keep the conversation going, but we're gonna take a little time out. It's halftime.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. And a lot of great stuff coming up, honestly, just in our church, especially if you're local champion and COTR. And I don't just say that as like a pastoral hype. Like there's really cool stuff coming down the road. And so I'm excited. And we have said this, we'll finish here. When we come back, Dylan will be on camera.
Yeah, we're going to finally.
That is like on the list of things to be done so we can have that. But seriously, thank you guys for watching, sharing, all that. We'll see you in just a few weeks. Until then, God bless you, and we'll talk to you soon.